Hi guys and welcome, my name is Jude and today I am here to do a review for The Winner's Curse by Mary Rutkoski. I think I butchered the author's name, but anyways. I am willing to make a bet that I am one of the very last booktubers left that had not yet read this book or made a review for it. This book came out in 2014 and it was the shit. Back then it was the biggest thing. And for some reason it never really caught my eye. I think it had to do with the cover. I didn't love it that much, but people said that it was a beautiful romance and that it was super action-packed. But I never got on board the bandwagon. And recently I did, because I stumbled upon recommendations and sample chapters, and I read the first 5 chapters and I got hooked, so I got the book, obviously. And having read it, I gotta say that I kinda liked it and I kinda didn't. I am very much on the fence about this one, and let me just share with you my thoughts on why. So The Winner's Curse takes place in an empire that is ruled by the Valorians, a race of people who have the Harani, another race of people, as slaves. Crystal, our main protagonist, is a Valorian, and one day she's taking a stroll through the streets when she stumbled upon a slave auction in which she decides to buy a Harani slave by the name of Aaron. Eventually romance happens, slowly starts to build up, and the thing is that Aaron has some secrets of his own that Crystal is not aware of and can crumble down the future that she had envisioned for herself, and that's how we got ourselves a YA novel. So for starters, I really I loved the first 3/4 of this book. Like the first 3/4 of this book I can solidly and confidently say I loved. Those 3/4 are quite slow though. Not boring, not dull, but slow. It's a time that is used to develop Crystal and Aaron as characters, the situations they are both in, the way of life that they have, and I thought it was so enjoyable. Crystal was an incredibly refreshing YA protagonist. She was in a position of privilege and she wasn't ashamed of it, nor was she spoiled, ratty, or unbearable in any way. She was a noble lady, the daughter of a very respected general of war. She was accustomed to a certain wealth and privilege. And even though she was definitely a lot more conscious of the fact that the Harani deserved respect and dignity as people, she still treated them as slaves because that's what they were there for. And I really enjoyed that. Usually like the authors make an extra effort to make their main characters super duper likable, therefore super duper woke and aware of their privilege, but Crystal wasn't, and I thought that was so refreshing. Because being aware of your privilege as a general normal person is super hard and can be very unsettling, particularly to your reality of how you see that things should be and how they are for others. I actually don't think Crystal actually sees like her privilege at the end of the novel. She doesn't ever actually come to terms with it. She's a Valorian through and through. And I like that. I thought it made for a beautiful, complex, flawed character that was just very well thought out. I can't say thought, I'm so sorry. As for Aaron, I also really loved him a lot. He was a slave, he was bitter, angry, a lot of resentment, which was very appropriate for a character like him. So I really enjoyed him as well. And as the romance started to build up, I loved that it was so subtle and so slow, because it makes a lot of sense. Why would a Valorian noble lady who is convinced of her position be so it would so easily be like, oh my god, a Harani, and fall into his arms? No! And why would a Harani who is so angry and bitter towards the Valorians fall for a girl super easy? No! I say this because I saw a few reviews complaining that the novel was super slow and that the romance was just like not sparking up, but it made sense. So I really enjoyed all of that. I thought it was steady and appropriate. The last quarter of the book, however, that's when the so-called action-packed stuff happens. And yeah, you could describe it as action. However, it's so choppy and so messy and so poorly done that it doesn't feel like anything is happening. The author is good. She wrote some good stuff. She made bomb-ass characters. But when it came to the action scenes, I am not entirely sure she knew how to write them because they just didn't work. There would be battles that would have like a lot of consequence and they would just seem like small things, and it's not like, oh, I mean, I could imagine them to be big, but I should have read them to be big. They should have been on the page. When they were talking about strategies, she was like narrating step by step what was happening instead of actually putting us in the center of the action and living it, and I didn't enjoy that at all. I actually thought it was super boring. I mean, I was reading it and I was like, there is no emotion, there is nothing happening in here, there is no imminent danger, and if there is, I am not feeling it. There was also the fact that when there's a key point in the novel, when things turn around, Aaron matures as a character, and I thought his growth was well done. However, Crestel's growth was not. Crestel was presented to be a strategic, cool-minded, rational being, strong woman. But however, with this turning point, she just becomes a mess, very dispersed, and just not at all how she was supposed to be. And I get it, she was in a position of distress, but still, I wouldn't have thought that her very, very, very key characteristics would go flying out the window. So I think there was something there that missed the mark hard. There is also a scene in which, no spoilers, though I have a feeling that you already read this book, still no spoilers, but there is a part in which a man is about to take advantage of her and she just doesn't really react. Like, you read pages later that she's remembering that day, but it's like, I never actually saw her react to it. And in that part, another actual horrible thing happens, and it's like no one is making a big deal out of it, and I thought it should have been a bigger deal. I was like, you are all just like so chill for a lot of blood. So it was necks like that that were just really getting to me because they were matching up with what we had been previously shown in the first 3/4 of the book, and I thought it was kind of annoying. And the last thing that kind of bothered me was that when I finished the novel, I read in the blurb of the book, there's a part where it says that the winner's curse is set in a richly imagined new world. The world of the winner's curse is not that richly imagined. I mean, the situation of Aaron and Crestel is very clear and very well done, as I was saying, but I didn't learn anything really substantial of what made the Hirani, not physically, not emotionally, not culturally. We barely know about things of their culture, or about the Valorians. We get that they're warriors and this and that, but there were a lot of things left unexplored. How they got there, where they came from, and I would have loved to read about that. I would have loved to know about that, this new mythology of sorts, and none of that is given. So I don't mind it, but when it's being advertised as that, I just see it as lazy. And I am not sure if I want to continue on with this series because I am afraid that the last quarter of the book, where a lot of people consider it to get good, is how the second book plays out and how the third one plays out. I want slow and steady again. I want careful but very well done building up again. And I don't know if I'm gonna get that in the second book. So I will read reviews, I will read samples, and I may get it. I may not. I'd love it if you could let me know in the comment section down below what your thoughts were. Maybe you think the opposite of me, that it was very, very slow in the beginning, but that it picked itself up towards the end. I didn't think that. So, that considered, do you think I should continue with the second book? Overall, I ended up giving this book 3 out of 5 stars. I honestly thought I was going to give it 5 in the beginning, but I got so crushingly disappointed and frustrated that it just went down to 3. 3.5 per se. So the winner's curse. All things considered, I say borrow, but you already read it, let's be real here. So yeah, those were my thoughts on this little novel. Do let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below if you've reviewed this book already, which you probably have. Link it down below, I'd love to watch it. Again, thank you so much for watching my videos, and I will see you guys in the next video.